We're 32 and guess what? We're millionaires. And by the end of this video, we'll tell you how you can be a millionaire too. Welcome back to my channel where we're building wealth to live life on our own terms, one money move at a time. I'm Rami.
And I'm Tio.
And we're investors on track to retire in our early 40s. We're here to share all of our tips to fast track your way to financial freedom without sacrificing the luxuries you care about along the way. So let's get into it.
So the first step is make boring, recurring investments. So I have this quote that I like that's from Warren Buffett, and people ask him like, why don't more people copy your investment strategy? And he always says, nobody wants to get rich slow. And so I heard the quote a long time ago, didn't follow it. My friend Mike and I ended up investing in this stock called Liquid Metal, which at the time, they were gonna make the glass for the next iPhone. It was gonna be big, it was exciting. We threw in hundreds of dollars in the investment, and unfortunately, they ended up not getting any contracts. We lost a bunch of money. But the thing is, the investment was super exciting. It was very active. We watched it every single day, and unfortunately, we didn't actually make any money. And so I think this is the opposite of what you want in an investment. Usually, you want your investments to be not only somewhat passive, something that you actually understand. I think there's a lot of exciting things out there right now, but it was a big lesson in investing and actually what I understand and making sure that I actually understand what's going on. So index funds are actually the opposite of this type of investment, and they're super passive, and they're going to make you consistent returns. And so basically what they do is they track a list of the top 500 or so companies in the US. You're pretty much guaranteed to make a return. I think for the last 50 years, it's made a pretty decent return. And so one of my favorite types of investments is actually robo investing. I've been using Acorns for about 10 years. I started with making investments of $200 a month, and they'll just automatically take it from your account. And then they'll also do things like a roundup. So if you buy your mini latte for $9.98, they'll take the 2 cents, they'll put it into a little account, and they'll round it up, and they'll actually invest it for you. So these are really good ways to get rich with really not even trying. So index funds is probably my top recommendation, and if you want the easiest way to get into that, I would recommend Acorns. You can set up an account less than 5 minutes. We'll put a referral code in the description.
The second point is hidden leverage. So we all know that housing is one of the biggest expenses that you can have. That reduces the amount of money that we have for other things like investing or even spending on vacations and whatnot. But what if I told you that there was a way to reduce your housing expense and also build wealth at the same time? You can by house hacking, or buying a property and living in one portion of it while renting out the other portion to make money to pay for your mortgage. I did this for years before we got married, and I just did the math and I saved over $50,000. That was $50,000 that I was able to invest in other properties that now I have equity of over 6 figures in. This is my favorite form of leverage because you have to live somewhere and you likely will have a housing expense, but there are so many different ways to reduce that expense. I bought property 2 years apart, and I would not have been in the financial situation to do that without house hacking. We often don't think about the long-term impact of these optimizations, but they can really make all the difference. We also follow the 10% rule. As much as this channel is about building towards financial freedom without sacrificing the luxuries you care about, you have to learn how to delay gratification. We have a general rule of thumb that we don't buy anything that we don't need that exceeds 10% of our net worth. 1, it gives us an incentive to continue to build our net worth if we really want that thing. And 2, it keeps us focused on our goals. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I love to tell the story of how I had my eye on a particular luxury car for years. I could technically afford it, but I couldn't justify the cost. I didn't end up buying that car until it represented less than 10% of our net worth. But before you get all doom and gloom on me, that doesn't mean I never treated myself. I took trips, I bought nice things, etc. I just did it within reason. It's all about reframing it. Of course you deserve to be rewarded for your hard work, but maybe today it's a nice wallet instead of a new car. The 10% rule is the reason why we've been able to make our money work harder in seasons where we could have spent it instead.
So the next point is find a good money mentor. Now, I kind of had a cheat code with this with my dad growing up. He was really, really good at teaching us how to save first and foremost, and then how to invest. I think we got our first mutual fund at maybe age 14. And so that was a really, really good education for us to know not only you want to save money, but actually put it in a place where it can grow. So really early on, he taught us about compound interest and how things can grow, which I think at a very young age, you kind of just get a good hang of it. And then now as I'm older, it kind of just makes sense to me, and I don't have to force myself to invest. I would highly recommend finding a good money mentor, someone that's where you want to be, that you can look up to, and actually studying what they do well, and then trying to follow them as well.
So that's our plan. We like to keep it simple, and it's what has made all the difference. What are some money moves you're implementing on your path to millionaire status? Let us know in the comments. If you want to shave years off your retirement journey, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our weekly tips. Stay financially fabulous.